Hey everyone, Sky with Forever Armed. Today I want to talk about gun handling and the importance of always handling your guns with proper technique every single time that you touch them. So when are some opportunities that we find ourselves handling our guns? Number one, in training under the watchful eye of a competent instructor. Secondly, on our own when we're practicing what we've learned in training. Thirdly, if we find ourselves in a self-defense situation where we need to deploy our weapon. And lastly, in our day-to-day, everyday carry routine. So, some examples of what you could do in your everyday carry routine. Let's say it's nighttime, you're getting ready to go to bed, you go to remove your gun from the holster, you set it on a nightstand, or maybe you lock it up in the safe, whatever the case may be. Instead of just pulling that gun out of its holster, use it as an opportunity to draw the gun correctly. Okay, so get that gun out, build a proper grip, press it out, get your sights aligned, get your sight picture, and then focus on that front sight for a couple of seconds. Okay? Same goes with reholstering the next morning. Remember, there's no hurry to reholster. You should always reholster reluctantly. Keep your head up, reholster the gun. Okay? Now look at the things we've just practiced there. We practiced drawing the gun, building the proper grip, sight alignment, sight picture, and focusing on the front sight. Okay, 5 things we just practiced in just a couple of seconds. That's something you can do every single day that you remove your gun from its holster, and you can practice reholstering your gun correctly every single day as well. Alright, now let's talk about loading the gun and reloading the gun. Perhaps you've just finished cleaning your gun, or perhaps you've just installed some Maxus Big Dot sights. Now you need to get your gun loaded. Instead of just grabbing a magazine off of a table and inserting it and loading the gun, put your magazines in their proper pouches. Okay, bring the gun up, grab a fresh magazine, firmly insert it, run the slide. Okay, now you've just practiced proper technique for loading the gun. Now for reloading, same thing, practice proper technique. If you're at the range, you've just shot your gun empty, or maybe you're behind cover and you're going to top off, maybe you're practicing the fast protocol. Okay, bring a fresh magazine out, drop the old magazine, firmly insert it, run the slide. Okay, you've just practiced reloading your gun with proper technique. Okay, let's say you're at the range, you're shooting, bang, bang, bang. So then you get a click instead of a bang. Bring that gun up, tap it, rack it, get that gun back out in the fight. Okay, if you've got a malfunction, do these things properly. Don't bring the gun up and diagnose and try to figure out what's going on. Just bring it up, tap it, rack it, and get it back in the fight. Alright, now let's take a look at a couple of things that you should avoid doing when loading and reloading your guns. So, you've got your pistol here. The slide happens to be locked to the rear. You go to grab a fresh magazine to load the gun, and the slide goes forward for you after inserting the magazine. Now you don't have to run the slide. Wrong. You should still run the slide. Remember, every time you go like this, you always go like this to ensure rounds in the chamber. Now what can happen sometimes, especially with the polymer frame, is if you don't insert that magazine just nice and perfectly straight in, it can sort of flex the frame slightly, which can cause that slide to go forward. Now, most of the time, a round will go in the chamber, but not every time. Remember, your gun handling should be optimized to function every time, not just most of the time. So, once again, remember, every time you go like this, you're going to go like that to ensure that a round is in the chamber. Alright? One other thing to look at is this little lever right here on the side is called a slide lock lever. That lever is used to lock the slide to the rear. A lot of times guys will put their thumb on that and try to operate that lever to bring the slide forward. So they'll insert the magazine and then they'll use their thumb to run the slide forward. Okay? I don't recommend that. Number one, that's a fine motor skill, trying to run that little lever with your thumb. Okay, like I said, once again, you go to insert a magazine, just run the slide. Okay, don't use the slide lock lever. That's not a slide release lever, it's a slide lock lever. The only time you should ever be touching that slide lock lever is to lock the slide to the rear. Either you're unloading the gun or you are fixing a Type 3 malfunction. Alright? Remember, all these techniques can be practiced on a daily basis. Amateurs practice things until they get them right. Professionals practice things until they can't get them wrong. Okay, now let's take a look at a couple of administrative tasks that I do not advocate. Number one, a lot of times you'll see people when they go to load a gun for the first time, they will insert the magazine, they'll run the slide, which puts a round in the chamber. Then what's the next thing they do? They eject the magazine. And they do that to then go back and top that magazine off with another round. So now they have a round in the chamber and a fully topped off magazine. I'm not an advocate of that. I don't think that one round is detrimental to a gunfight. If I'm going like this and then I'm running the slide, there's only two things I should be doing after that. Either one, getting that gun in the fight, or reholstering my gun. Okay? I don't like the idea of going like this and going like this and then immediately going like this. It's not something I would ever do in a gunfight. I'm not going to do it in my day-to-day, everyday carry routine as well. Okay? Secondly, ensuring there's a round in the chamber. A lot of guys will do a press check. I'm not an advocate of press checks. Number one, they don't work well in the dark unless you're going to take the extra step to feel for around the chamber as well, which just takes more time and requires more fine motor skills. If I want to make sure there's around the chamber, I just go like this. Okay, now I know I have a round in the chamber. Now yes, I did lose one round in that process, but that's fine. As you can see, running the slide is a gross motor skill, and it's also a lot faster than doing a press check. I know I've got a round in the chamber, I can get my gun out in the fight immediately. Okay, so why is it so important that you handle your guns with proper technique every single time that you touch them? The reason for this is because, let's say you find yourself in a self-defense situation where you need to deploy your weapon. You're going to be under a great amount of stress and adrenaline at this time, and you are going to default to the level of training that you have mastered. Okay? So let's say you took a 2-day pistol course 3 years ago, but then you never practiced what you learned in training. You never practiced proper gun handling techniques and skills and so forth. Okay, now suddenly you find yourself in a gunfight. What level of skills and techniques do you think you will have mastered if you never practiced anything that you learned in training? Okay, you'll have mastered nothing. All right. In training, you don't master anything. You learn proper skills, techniques, and tactics, and so forth. It is up to you to then constantly maintain those skills and practice those skills and improve those skills and ingrain those skills and techniques into your gun handling. All right. So that is why it is so important that you always handle your guns with proper technique every single time you touch them. Use every opportunity you can to practice handling your guns with proper technique. Alright, one last thing I want to talk about in regards to gun handling is that your gun handling should be optimized for stress. Okay, the reason for this is that when you find yourself in a self-defense situation, you're going to be under a high level of stress and adrenaline, and you want your gun handling that you've ingrained in yourself to be optimized for stress so that you come out alive in the fight. Alright, so how is that done? One thing you'll notice in everything that I've talked about here, every time I have the gun up and I'm going like this, I'm going like that. Okay, every time I'm inserting a magazine or tapping a magazine and clearing a malfunction, I'm always going like that. Alright? Your gun handling should be simple and similar, and as you can tell in a lot of the gun handling techniques here I'm talking about, it's just a matter of going like that and going like that. Every time I'm tapping the magazine or inserting a new magazine or topping off the gun with a magazine, I'm always running the slide. Alright, so just to recap what was talked about in this video, you should always handle your guns with proper technique every single time you touch them, whether it be in practice or in your everyday carry routine. The idea behind this is that if handling your guns with proper technique is the only way you handle your guns in practice and in your everyday carry routine, that's the only way you're going to handle your gun under the effects of stress and adrenaline in a self-defense situation. Okay? Administrative gun handling should be removed from your practice and everyday carry routine. If you are loading your gun, insert the magazine, run the slide, and that's it. Okay? Don't insert the magazine, run the slide, and then eject the magazine to then insert one round into that magazine to top it off. That one round is not detrimental to your gunfight. If that one round is so important to you, instead of inserting that one round, add another magazine, a spare magazine, to your everyday carry. Now you've got 12 rounds, 15 rounds, 17 rounds added instead of just that one. Alright? Press checks. A press check is not something that you would ever do in the middle of a gunfight, so don't do it in practice and in your everyday carry routine. If you want to ensure you've got a round in the chamber, just bring the gun up, run the slide, now you know you've got a round in the chamber. And lastly, your gun handling should be optimized for stress. One thing you'll notice in the gun handling that I've talked about in this video, every time we go like this, we go like that. Okay? Whether it be inserting a magazine to load the gun, reloading the gun, fixing a malfunction, etc. Every time we go like this, we go like this. If a round ejects out of the ejection port and you've wasted one round, don't worry about it. That one round is not detrimental to your gunfight. Okay? That's pretty much it. Please like and share this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Once again, this is Scott with Forever Armed, reminding you to be ready for the moment. You must train for the moment.